House Democrats are still reeling from last week's stunning losses and trying to regroup and refocus on their new political reality. So their path forward could involve new leadership. Let's bring back our political panel to discuss. We have Errol Louis, Jason Johnson, and David Gregory. David, I'll start with you. Congressman Tim Ryan has thrown his hat in the ring. Is Nancy Pelosi's leadership in trouble?
I think it's considered a long shot bid, but probably something that a lot of Democrats think is worth testing. Look, you've heard from Bernie Sanders and others talking about the need for Democrats to go in a new direction to really take stock of this loss. And I think with not just the loss of the presidency, but of both houses of Congress as well, governorships around the country, there's going to be this kind of testing of whether there's a new way for the party to go. But I think there'll be a lot of stalwarts in the party who will see Nancy Pelosi as a very effective minority leader and potential speaker again, depending upon how these first 2 years go, when activism, fundraising, and mobilization becomes really important against a new Trump presidency, and Nancy Pelosi has a lot of experience doing all that.
You know, Tim Ryan's point is there has to be a new way because the current way isn't working. We're getting shellacked in election after election. Listen to what he said.
We're at the lowest number of state and federal officials since Reconstruction. We have the lowest number in our caucus since 1929, and we've lost over 60 seats since 2010. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and you keep getting the same results. So time to move on, I think.
Jason, that's Congressman Ryan to our own Manu Raju. You know, Tim Ryan, is the walking representation of what Democrats haven't been able to reach. White working class voters in these swing states. He's outside, from outside Youngstown in Ohio.
Yeah, and I'm biased. I've met Tim before. He is a salt of the earth guy. He's fantastic. His district was right next to my school. I've actually had people intern for him. He understands what middle America is talking about. And also it's interesting, he's the last man standing of that sort of early 30s group. It was him and Kendrick Meek and Debbie Wasserman Schultz who thought they were going to change the Democratic Party in 2006. He's the last one standing. I think it'd really be a great change in the Democratic Party. I don't know if he'll win, but they should listen to him.
Is now the moment for change? This is a long shot.
Now is the moment for a discussion about change because, Jason's exactly right. They came in their early 30s. Nancy Pelosi is 76. So, are we going to wait for her to sort of, turn 78? And then maybe they gain a few more seats and then a couple of years.
But about her age, if she's effective, then she's effective. 76 or 78 or...
Well, but see, they're raising questions about effectiveness. This is the quintessential practical business. You lose 4 straight elections. If it was sports or any other endeavor, you'd say, you know what? 4 successive losses. These are folks who are going to see a decade of their careers basically in the minority, and they don't see any reason why they should be all that patient.
David, before I let you answer, let me play for you how she justifies her existence. Listen to Nancy Pelosi.
In 2005 and 2006, I orchestrated the take-back of the House of Representatives. When President Clinton was president, the Republicans took the House. President Bush was president, the Democrats took the House. When President Obama was president, the Republicans took the House. So we have an opportunity. It doesn't mean any guarantee, but it means that we will do very hard work. So I hope to have, I'm very proud to have the opportunity. I know how to do it, to get it done.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, look, there's no question that she does know how to do it, but I think to Jason's point, part of the appeal is to find a new way for the party, a new palette of issues, a new way of communication, to try to make headway, and it's very difficult in the House. In particular, if you look at all the gerrymandering of districts around the country, this is so much of where you get this rural-urban split in our demographics, in our politics, so it becomes a lot more difficult to affect change in the House versus the Senate.
Look, as Omar said in The Wire, you come at the king, you better not miss. So Tim Ryan...
I love Wire references. Way to go, Berman.
Tim Ryan better get there because Nancy Pelosi is the one person left in Washington who can count votes, yes. and she's good at it. And if there's anyone who can wrangle support, it's her. Let's talk about President Obama, who thought he would be the savior for the Democratic Party and usher in decades of Democratic rule. It didn't quite happen that way. But he's been going around the world right now talking a lot about sort of the future and sort of expanding on his post-election comments on Donald Trump. And yesterday in Berlin, standing next to Angela Merkel, he talked about his tone a little bit. Let's listen.
What I said to him was that what may work in generating enthusiasm or passion during elections may be different than what will work in terms of unifying the country and gaining the trust even of those who didn't support him. And he's indicated his willingness to his understanding of that.
To me, it seems that President Obama is working through this, like a lot of Democrats are right now. And he's torn, Jason, between, he's so grateful to George W. Bush for how he left office and how quiet he was in criticism afterwards. And he desperately wants to do that. But at the same time, he's got this other voice in him saying, I've got to try to either influence Donald Trump or make clear where I have issues.
And this is the challenge, John, that he's got. Barack Obama is a patriot. He wants to see the country do well. Even if it's not under the candidate that he supported, he wants America to do well. But he's got sincere concerns about how Trump is going to do the job. And I think part of this tour isn't just President Obama saying goodbye. He's got to calm our allies. Germany is the one nation. He is the most popular foreign leader in Germany. They love him over there. And he's got to tell them, look, you got to work with this guy. We can't have our economy tank. And that's a difficult challenge for him for the next couple of weeks.
But why is he, Errol, saying the challenges while he's over in Germany? And when he was here, he said we had an excellent conversation.
Well, I mean, he's going to say what he has to say where he is. I mean, this is like any other president on his way out the door. He's concerned about legacy. This particular president, because of his history making candidacy and presidency, was kind of talking legacy from day one, right? So this is the kind of conversation that he slips into. But, to go back to the other conversation in part, there's a part of his political legacy is that the Democrats were flat on their back during the Obama presidency in a way that we haven't seen in decades. And it's going to take a long time for them to repair and rebuild. And, he doesn't want to own that. We don't like to talk about it, but it is a part of the sort of the cold reality of all of this stuff. So, yeah, he can talk to Germany about unity and so forth, but how did that work out under his presidency? It didn't work out very well.
He keeps bragging about his approval ratings. He keeps bragging about his approval ratings wherever he goes. I think if you're a Democrat right now, you're looking at saying, yeah, but what did that get us? The answer is not so much. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.